Okay, have you ever, like, poured your heart into an idea at work? You're sure it's brilliant.
Oh, totally.
And then crickets. But then you see someone else's project, maybe not as good, get approved, and you're like, hold on, what just happened?
Yeah, that's the thing about office politics. It's always there, whether we're aware of it or not.
Exactly. So you guys sent us this episode of the Office Sage podcast.
A good one.
It is. And they were talking about this book, Secrets to Winning at Office Politics.
Yes, and what I loved is they broke it down into these organizational facts of life.
Our cheat sheet for surviving, maybe even thriving, in the real world of work.
Right. And the thing is, these facts aren't about being cynical or anything. It's about seeing the workplace clearly, without the rose-colored glasses. Like, the stuff most people learn the hard way, we're giving you the inside scoop.
I am so here for the inside scoop. So give it to us straight. What's fact number 1?
Okay, so the first two are kind of connected. The podcast really emphasized that organizations are not democracies.
Oh, ouch. Tell me more.
Right. And they went on to say that power dynamics are always there. It doesn't matter how flat an organization claims to be. Someone always has more influence, more sway.
See, that's where it gets tricky. Because part of me wants to believe, maybe naively, that the best ideas, the hardest workers, they'll automatically rise to the top.
I know, right? Like, wouldn't it be nice if it were that simple?
Seriously.
But think about it this way. Let's say you're on a team developing a new product. You've got this killer concept, but it clashes with what a key decision maker values. Maybe they're all about cost cutting right now, and your idea, even if it's brilliant, means spending more. You got to know how to play that game,
So it's not enough to just have the best idea on paper.
Exactly. You got to be savvy. Who has the power to greenlight stuff? Who do people actually listen to, even if their title isn't that impressive? Those are the things to pay attention to.
It's like decoding the matrix,
Yeah.
figuring out the real rules of the game.
100%.
Yeah, it's like we're not just playing the game. We're trying to understand the rule book someone hid, which honestly makes me realize, like, I don't even know if I know the players in my own workplace that well.
And that's why this next fact of life is so important. So the Office Age podcast, they were talking about how most decisions, even ones we think are totally logical, there's a ton of subjectivity there. Like human emotions, biases, they're always in the mix.
Tell me about it. I once spent like a week building this whole data-driven proposal for a project tweak. I'm talking hardcore spreadsheets. Thought I was golden.
Let me guess.
Turns out, the big boss completely fixated on a tiny design detail had nothing to do with the data.
See, that's what I got to get better at, because it's rarely about having the best data, the perfect argument. It's about those hidden preferences, the stuff people don't always say out loud.
Okay, so how do we figure that out? It's not like there's a manual for whose opinion matters most, or
Right.
what they secretly care about.
Well, not a written manual. This is where observation is key. The Office Sage episode, they mention managing up, and the book goes into it more.
I've heard that phrase, and I'll be honest, it always sounded kind of achy to me. Like, too manipulative.
I get it. But it doesn't have to be that way. It's less about sucking up, more about strategic empathy,
Okay, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Give me the non-manipulative version of managing up.
So instead of thinking, how do I get my boss to do what I want, flip the script. Ask, what are their goals, their pressures? How does my work help them look good, achieve their stuff?
Interesting.
It means paying attention. What does your boss care about most? What are they always getting grilled on in meetings? That gives you clues.
So instead of complaining about a problem, I should be ready with a solution that also checks off one of their boxes.
Exactly. Say you want new software. Instead of, this software is great, we need it. You know how we're trying to cut down on errors?
Yeah.
I've been looking at this software. It could really streamline things and save us money long term. I'd love to show you if it fits with your vision.
Ooh, sneaky.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. You're still getting what you want.
But you're speaking their language.
Though that does take a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like getting to know your coworkers that deeply. Sometimes I just want to do the work, go home,
Oh, tell me about it. And that actually leads us to the next fact of life, which, well, it's a tough one. Ready?
Hit me.
Fairness. It's not guaranteed at work, like at all.
Okay, yeah, that one is tough to hear. Because we want to believe it'll all work out if we just keep our heads down and do the work.
I know. It's
Yeah.
like we're taught that fairness should be the reward for hard work, right?
Ugh.
But the thing is, even though we can't control other people or make every decision be fair in everyone's eyes, we can control how we play the game, so to speak.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get stuck in that feeling of, but it's not fair.
Totally. The office stage people, they had this really good analogy. They compared it to, like, salary negotiation.
Interesting.
You wouldn't go into a salary negotiation without doing your homework, right? You'd research what people in your field are making. You'd practice how to ask for what you're worth.
Oh, for sure. I've spent hours on those salary websites trying to figure out what's reasonable.
Exactly. And it's kind of the same with office politics in a way. It's not just about the work itself. It's about those other skills, building relationships, making sure your accomplishments are noticed by the right people.
Oh, visibility. That's huge.
It is. And honestly, that reminds me of the time I got passed over for a promotion. I was putting in the hours, exceeding goals, but someone else got it, and honestly, they were just way better at talking about their work than I was.
It's amazing how far that can get you.
Right. It's not always about who does the best work, but who's best at showcasing their value, you know?
So it's almost like we have to be our own PR agents, in a way.
A little bit, not in a braggy way, but
All right.
strategically letting people know what you're contributing, what you're good at.
So if our listener is taking away one thing from this whole deep dive today, what would you say it is?
I think it's that even though we can't control everything that happens at work, knowing the unwritten rules makes it easier to navigate. It's not about being like a master manipulator. It's about advocating for yourself, not letting the system get you down.
Love that. Because you can have a positive impact even when things feel a little unfair or like the odds are stacked against you.
You got it. It's about focusing on what you can change. Your approach, your attitude, that kind of stuff.
This has been so insightful. I know I've got a lot to think about. And for everyone listening who's probably also thinking about their own workplace now, what's one tiny thing they could do, like this week, to put this all into action?
That's a good one. I'd say think about the people you work with, especially those in those higher up positions. What are their big goals right now? What really bugs them? And then see if you can adjust your own work, your communication style, to better fit their needs. You might be surprised at how big a difference those small changes can make.
Great advice. It's like that saying, it's not always what you know, but who you know. Although in this case, it's maybe a little both. Well, this has been fantastic. Such a great reminder that a little bit of office savvy can go a long way. Thanks for diving deep with us.
My pleasure. This was fun.